Alright, Shadow Warriors. So, we all know about Barbie. We've heard about him. I did the video on his Tunnels of Death, and dude was brutal. For those of you who don't know, you can check out that video in the Tunnels of Death if you want to get more into his past history and who he is. Now, he's an American. Barbie was given to him because the blonde hair and blue eyes. They're given to him as a nickname. Now, a lot of people don't know this, but he actually paid to have his own movie done. Almost kind of like what Chappelle wanted to do with Sean Penn. He kind of wanted to immortalize himself in his story. Now, he paid for this out of his own pocket, and it was very well hidden as far as not publicized and ended up getting swept under the water, I think, or under the rug because of his violence and the charges that came to him. I think the people who were involved, they didn't want their names being put out there or linked to him, so no one really ever talked about this too much. Now, one of the only things I do know that directly links him 100% was a payment he made of $200,000 to the director of this movie. Now, in this movie, it's called Crónicas del Narco, or basically Chronicles of a Narco. And it tells his life story. It's about 40 minutes long, and one of the very controversial parts was the fact in real life he was involved in a shootout with AFI and state police, AFI being the Agencia Federal de Investigación, something like the FBI. And in the movie, they actually use official AFI and state police cars. So the actual police he actually got in a shootout with and killed several members with his own hands. Their co-workers let him borrow a couple patrol cars for the movie. Now, a lot of this is filmed in Monterrey, Nuevo León, which is along the border, that troublesome border I talk about with Texas, around that area. Now, his name's Edgar Valdez Villarreal, for those of you who don't know, and in the movie, there's people like Diego Dreyfus, who's a very important actor here. Luis Gatica is Comandante Duran, which is the Comandante of the state police. Now, his story in real life was based in Laredo, Texas, Nuevo Laredo, Tamaulipas, and a couple other places, but it was mainly filmed, like I said, around Monterrey. The people who appear in this movie, it's really a mystery because a lot of the staff, if you want to call them that, who are involved, it's pretty much all been erased. And a lot of the people are dead, too, who are involved with it. One of the groups, narco corrido groups that appears in the movie, Torrente, their leader, Jose Carlos Salinas, was arrested at a narco party with the Beltran Leyva brothers. And you gotta remember, originally Barbie was friends with the Beltran Leyva cartel. But his friendship kind of got worn out with Arturo because Arturo used to get really loaded doing blow and alcohol and used to start threatening everybody, including Barbie. And that's where that friendship went bad. Now, this movie's done in English and Spanish. It goes back and forth and has subtitles. And it's actually, they did a pretty decent job with timing and everything else. Don't think it's a cheap movie because it's not. They actually did a decent job. Like I said, you can see people took their time. I think they were probably afraid if they didn't, they knew what the consequences were. So they made sure the movie looked pretty classy. Now, in this movie, he's portrayed as a very generous and friendly person. One of the scenes, one of his hitmen dies, and he goes to comfort the family, and is playing with his son, and you can definitely tell it tries to make him look good, to say the least. Now, when you look at his true life, it couldn't be any farther from the truth as far as him killing the people involved in the tunnels and everything else. He was extremely brutal. You look at the violence that was linked to him, and it's pretty off the chain. Now, in one of the scenes, two women are sent to put like some type of white powder in his drink, like they wanted to drug him, some type of trap. And I don't know if that happened in his real life, but I'm assuming it did. He wanted that to be pointed out. I think his enemies who sent those women to do that to him, that he survived that and he knows that what happened, and he wanted the whole world to know. The way that it was done, it's a pretty bloody movie, I'm not gonna lie. So he made himself look good, but he didn't lessen the violence in that sense that linked to real life. Because it's a pretty brutal movie, just like in real life, it was pretty damn brutal. So he walks a fine line between a good guy and a caring guy and being a violent, bloodthirsty killer at the end of the day. There's a operation in the movie with the AFI, which actually doesn't exist anymore. They're gone, the actual group, because of corruption and stuff like that. And this guy's chasing him. This guy's like the antagonist throughout the whole movie, Comandante Duran. And he ends up getting hurt in the movie in a shootout. And it's funny because, like I said, in real life, Barbie was responsible for the death of several AFI agents. And it's kind of, the movie mirrors that, actually. Like, he was proud of it, is what I'm trying to get at. Almost like it was an accomplishment for him to kill those two AFI agents. And he wanted that to be marked in the movie. That commemorates his life's accomplishments and so on and so forth. This is just my personal, what I took away from it. So, it also shows him as like a womanizer on boats, on the yachts, and him having a party life. So, I think that's pretty damn real and close to the truth, because he's very well known to have been linked to that fast life and that party life. When we look at movies like this, there's really nothing that compares to this that I can think of that was actually paid for and done by a real narco. And he actually told them what he wanted, how he wanted to do it. So it was actually portrayed to par of what he wanted his life to be painted as. This wasn't done by some Hollywood director, secondhand information, glamorizing stuff. Lots of stuff was glamorized, but by he himself. So it's kind of interesting to see what he points out as accomplishments in the movies, what I was trying to get at back there, because a normal person wouldn't be proud of things like that. But to him, those are big markers in his life. So if you guys have the time to go watch it, please do. It's in English and Spanish, so don't think it's anything great like Martin Scorsese, alright? It's not no Quentin Tarantino or anything like that. But they did a decent job. And it's definitely interesting to kind of get in his mind to see what he saw as important. So if you're interested in that narco life and stuff like that, movies and that the whole culture, you guys would definitely dig this movie. I think the government also hid this as well, because they were kind of embarrassed this has happened. It was the patrol cars that were used and stuff as well, and the complicity on their part of their employees, as well as the actors. Like I said, after all the bad things that were linked to Barbie, they wanted to get buried too. So this is a little secret, a little gem of narco culture, if you want to look at it like that. And I know a lot of people are crazy about Barbie. He's got almost a damn cult following. And I think a lot of people don't know the damn truth about, like I've stated several times, how truly brutal and sadistic he was. He could kill with the best of them. So don't let his pretty boy looks and the fact he's American fool you, because Barbie was brutal, all the way to the bone. So I hope you guys like this. Subscribe, notifications. Please put a comment down below. That's what helps us get put in the algorithm and get recommended. So I'm get an interview done probably later today or tomorrow with Josh from Lockdown 23 and 1, Prison Break Raw, also the same day, and another guy who, well, I'll leave the third one as a surprise. How about that? So you guys have a good one. Love and respect from Sinaloa, everybody. Adios, amigos.